Inside the Huddle is back, and in this podcast, we sit down with Osseo Activities Director Bill Quan. It's been a busy first 2 weeks of school at Osseo with the Activities Hall of Fame celebration 2 weeks ago and homecoming this past week. A great conversation about the state of the Orioles in just a minute. But first, let's hit the scoreboard. The aforementioned Orioles picked up their second win in a row on the football field on Friday night with an impressive 14-7 win over the Blaine Bengals. Reggie Dupree had a huge game on the ground, 208 yards rushing and both scores for the Orioles. Osseo travels to Champlin Park next week to face the Rebels. Maple Grove dropped their first game of the season as they lost 28-21 to Minnetonka. The Crimson battled back from a 20-0 deficit to take the lead 21-20, but then watched as the Skippers regained momentum and the victory 28-21. The Crimson will travel to Burnsville next week. How about the Maple Grove volleyball team? Crimson sitting at 9-0 on the season after a 3-0 performance at the Hopkins tournament over the weekend. Crimson this week, very busy. They battle Wayzata on Monday, and then a battle with cross-district rival Osseo on Tuesday. The Orioles finished 2-2 in the Farmington tournament and are 5-3 overall in the season. The young Orioles are finding their stride in a big rivalry game, as we mentioned, Tuesday night at home, 7 o'clock, will be a great atmosphere. In soccer, Maple Grove girls played their toughest week of the season and finished 2-1. They saw their 6-game shutout streak end at the feet of the Centennial Cougars, but the Crimson defeated Centennial 3-2 in a huge mental hurdle game. And they dropped their first game of the season 2-0 to the second-ranked Washburn Millers on Saturday night. The Crimson boys are off to a 6-0-2 start as they picked up shutout wins this week over Centennial and Buffalo, and then finished to a 0-0 tie against Park Center. Armstrong and Anoka await the Crimson this week. Osseo finished with a 1-1 record with a win over Irondale and a loss to Champlin Park. Orioles face Coon Rapids and Blaine this week. The Osseo girls dropped a 1-0 game to Irondale, then fell 5-1 to Champlin Park. The Orioles also face Coon Rapids and Blaine this week. When we come back, we catch up with Osseo Activities Director Bill Quan. But first, a word from our presenting partner, Twin Cities Orthopedics. This is Inside the Huddle on Maple Grove Voice.
It takes a lot to bring down a Minnesota Vikings player, but when an injury occurs, a Twin Cities Orthopedics physician is on the field and ready to assess the situation. TCO is the official sports medicine provider of the Minnesota Vikings and proud to be a part of the new home of the Minnesota Vikings in Eagan. Best yet, the community can see the same great doctors at one of our 40 clinic locations across the metro. Visit TCOMN.com to learn more. TCOMN.com.
Back inside the Huddle, presented by Twin Cities Orthopedics right here on Maple Grove Voice, getting a chance to catch up with Osseo Activities Director Bill Quan. A busy, to say the least, first 2 weeks of school. You get the Hall of Fame, you get homecoming this last week, and then we get a golf tournament today and a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Have you had a chance since school started? And then not only that, you put your dad hat on and you're watching your daughter play volleyball. Have you had a chance to kind of settle in yet, or has it just been too crazy?
It's been go, but it's been fun seeing all the Hall of Famers last week and homecoming this week and seeing the kids at the dance last night and seeing a bunch of coaches and parents and former alumni golfing today. I think I might be heading home for a little nap after this. So it's been fun.
Well deserved. Let's talk about the Hall of Fame. 10 inductees go in. It's a fun night to kind of bring people back into our inner circle. It's got to be a lot of fun for you to put in. I know this is something that you've really put your stamp on since you've been here. Talk about that a little bit. And the 10 that went in this year, obviously Trent Klatt, who played in the NHL and just led Grand Rapids to a state championship. Obviously that's a big thing, and the other 9 inductees as well.
I think we have a rich history at Osseo Senior High School. We go a long ways back. It's almost 100 years now, and I think we need to celebrate that history that we have, and I think athletics is a big part of it, and we have some big names who've done a lot of really big things here, and to see them come back, and my favorite part is just to hang out around them and listen to the stories that they tell. Tina Grivna, coach of our championship volleyball team in the 1970s, and having all of her players come back and just sitting and standing by the table and listening to the stories and then reminiscing. That's what it's all about, just bringing people back together, and hopefully it'll be a yearly basis, and all the Hall of Famers from the past will come back to help celebrate from year to year.
It takes a lot to put that in too, and I know the Legion does a great job providing the feedback, and it's great. What feedback have you gotten as this thing has kind of progressed and advanced?
All the inductees and just the people from the past are very appreciative of the time that we take to recognize them and their friends and their coaches to become a part of this, because they know how special a place that Osseo Senior High is, and to be recognized as part of that history just really means a lot to them. So just taking a little bit of time that we do to make it happen, it just brings them back home and brings back the memories. So it's been really fun.
We get into the athletics now, and I know football is off to a great start, 2-1. Volleyball is playing solid, went 2-2 in Farmington yesterday. Soccer, obviously, it is a busy time of year, and I think a lot of people just kind of look at it as there's always something going on and always something that you're busy doing. Are there some stories that stick out here early on in the fall?
I think you got to go back to Friday night. Just going back to that homecoming football game, our defense making some big stands, the crowd being full of our students wearing orange, seeing a bunch of alumni back, and just after the win, at the end of the game, our fans running out to the field, hanging out for 20, 30 minutes afterwards, taking pictures, giving high fives, and just being a part of it all and just taking it in. That was a pretty special homecoming night for me, and kind of puts a mark on the first 2 weeks of school.
Is it hard when it's that early on? I mean, because you're just kind of trying to get your legs under you when you're trying to, and then all of a sudden, boom, first week is a short week. You're trying to figure out a new block schedule, and second week you got homecoming. Do you kind of find for you, is it easier just to dive all in, or is it kind of one of those things where you wish you had a couple weeks before you get into a big event because homecoming's a big deal?
I wish I had a little bit more time, and it is a little bit of my fault. I do set that date or help set that date. It was that or mid-October, which I felt was a little bit too late. You always want a little bit more time to get our homecoming skits all ready, for kids to find a date to go to the dance and just to get settled into school. But at the same time, I think it was great to have it early, in the fact that you bring out that school pride that early in the school year, and kind of sets the tone for the rest of the school year, hopefully. So right away, week 2, that's a beautiful part about it too.
And then obviously today, a great day, just absolutely gorgeous out here, Shamrock Golf Course, and a great fundraiser for the activities and athletic department. Just kind of talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm real appreciative of Tim Bolzer and Shamrock Golf Course for putting this tournament on. Tim's an alumni of Osseo Senior High School, so this is his way of giving back to us. It was a remake or retake of the spring, because we had a bad Sunday, so we had to reschedule it. So we had 13 teams out here today, a bunch of alumni, a bunch of coaches, some family friends, just coming out to have a little bit of fun and celebrate. So it's really fun for me, because I knew people personally in all the groups. So as driving around, seeing the smiling faces, a little chilly to start, but right now it's sunny and 60 degrees out here. Couldn't ask for a better day. And everybody's just smiles all day long, just having fun. And everyone here for the purpose of giving back to Osseo Senior High School, regardless of score, from a -4 to a -14. It didn't matter. Everyone accomplished their goal today of having fun and giving back to the school.
When you kind of have a chance to breathe, which, for when you're bouncing around to different events and then being a dad and watching your daughter play, what do you love most about what you get to do?
I think about that all the time. Just everyone always asks me, especially my alumni that come back, that I was their chemistry teacher and their coach back in the day. Do you miss the teaching? Do you miss the coaching? And of course I miss the teaching and coaching, but I think this job is perfect. I'd say 99% of the time I love my job and what I do. It's busy, but connecting with community, connecting with the kids, leaving my mark, hopefully at Osseo Senior High School with the school spirit and all the little things that we do on a daily basis. I love it every day. It definitely is a grind, but at the end of the day, a smile on my face, and it's fun.
That's going to do it for this week's edition of Inside the Huddle. Thanks as always to our presenting partner, Twin Cities Orthopedics, as well as Activities Director over at Osseo Senior High, Bill Quan, for taking time in this week's podcast. We'll see you next time here at Inside the Huddle.